Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Harry's Music Room. Continuing in our deep dive of Chicago albums from the Terry Kath era, today's video is going to be on Chicago 7. This is their sixth album, studio album that they've released in a 5-year period, not counting the 4 LP live album, live at Carnegie Hall. We've got the same original 7 members. We've got guest percussionist Lawrence de Olivia. The cover is done in the style of leather carving. We've got the Chicago World's Fair from 1893. We've got Mrs. O'Leary's Cow. Here we've got the Chicago Stockyards. And here we have the train railroad tracks. There are more tracks going out of Chicago to other cities in the U.S. and anywhere else in the States. One other thing on this album, it's the first record where we get a contribution from every member is writing a song for the album. We've got custom inner sleeves, which we've come to know the typical handwritten liner notes. We've got a custom label. Now this double album originally was going to be a single album. They went back to Caribou Ranch, and while they were on tour doing live shows during the sound checks and stuff, they would work on these jazz tunes that they liked. And when they got to Caribou, they wanted to do a jazz album. And Peter Cetera and their producer, James William Guercio, both said, no, that's going to be suicide. It won't sell. It'll kill our career. But they insisted on recording some of the songs along with the other pop songs that they were going to do. And they had so many good songs. They said, there's no way we can't that we're going to put this in the can and just sit on it. We've got to release it. So it ended up being a double album. The first album is really jazz fusion all the way. Think Weather Report, Miles Davis. I mean, it's really good stuff. Really good. As a matter of fact, we go on to the 6th song on this album before we even get a song with vocals. There's just a lot of jazz instrumentals, and it's very good stuff. Let's see, we've got, because of the, even though it was a double album and heavily jazz, it did go to number 1. So we're going to go through these songs one by one off of the Chicago 7. And this really is one of, I'd say, it's a toss-up for my favorite album. I really like this. And it's probably the last great Chicago album. After that, they kind of went middle of the road, and Peter Cetera, and we all know where that ended up. But the first song is called Prelude to Air. Again, instrumental. Danny Serafine, the drummer, wrote this. There's a lot of drumming, obviously, and a lot of flutes. It's really good. If, like I said, if you like jazz fusion, you're going to love this. The second song is just called Air. And again, it's a continuation of Prelude to Air. And then we have something called Devil's Suite, and it's spelled S-W-E-E-T, a takeoff on the suites that they used to do on their first 3 albums, or their second and third album. And it's written by Danny Serafine and Walter Parazater. And it's 10 minutes of just beautiful jazz improvisation. It's really good. I'll put a link below to a live version of it so that if you want to check it out, you can see what I'm talking about. Then we go to side 2. We have a song called Italian from New York. Bobby Lamb song. Another instrumental where Bobby's playing the ARP synth, uh, really electronic. And then we have a song called Hanky Panky, another Bobby instrumental. Kind of funky, kind of groovy. It's got a nice groove to it. I like it. I like it. And then we come to the song called Lifesaver, which is probably 75% instrumental, but we finally get some vocals. And at the last part of the song, we get "You're a lifesaver, I'm a lifesaver." It just goes on and on, but they're just repeating it over and over, just grooving to whatever they've been playing. And I'll put a link to that one below too, because it's got some real nice horns in it, really nice. And then let's see, Happy Man. Now we get into a song written by Peter Cetera. And I do love this song. I'm not a big fan of Peter's stuff usually, but I love this song. Smooth vocals. Louder is just great on the percussions on this. It's obvious to see as you listen to this record what he brought to the band and how good he was and why they ended up making him a permanent member on the next album. So we've got, see, on Happy Man, the acoustic guitar on that album is played by producer Gercio, and Terry Kath actually plays bass on that record. And then we go to side 3, I've Been Searching So Long. Again, a Jimmy Pankow song. I don't know how he does it, being, in the horn section, but he's the one that's been writing their big hits. Another top 10 song. This one went to number 9. And he says in the song, I've been searching so long, when my days have come to an end, I will understand what I left behind, part of me. I've been searching so long to find an answer. Now I know my life has meaning to the question, who am I? So it sounds like a deep subject, but it's really just a nice song. Pretty song. And then we have Mononucleosis, Jimmy Pankow song. And again, I love this song. This is one of my favorites on the album. Louder kills it. He just kills it on this song. Man, just you got to listen to the percussion and the congos and the bongos and the drums. Everything on this is so good. And they keep, the only thing they say in it is Kepe Chesa, Kepe Chesa, which I guess means what a mess. And I guess they're talking about how the music is a mess. But anyways, it's a great song. I love it. And then we have Song of the Evergreens. This is a Terry Kath song, but it's sung by Lee Loughnane. First time he's done a vocal. He does a great job. Great job. It's all about the coming of winter and how the snowflakes dance when they fall. And it kind of builds up at the end. They just keep saying snow, 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 snow over and over and over and over. But it really works. It's a good ending to the song. And then we have another song that one of my favorites on this album, Biblos. And this is, Biblos was, or Biblos was the name of a club in Osaka, Japan, where the band played. And it's basically a song about a woman that he sees at the club. He wants to speak with her and get a relationship of some sort. And they part. He doesn't know who she is or where she lives or anything about her. And he keeps hoping she'll come back to the club. Well, she does. But she ends up with a friend of his. And he says, well, the friend's happy and I'm glad for him. But it would be nice if I could meet her and if I knew where she lived and this and that. But it's a really good song, really good song. One of my favorites on the album. And it's another one where Terry plays guitar, but he also plays bass on it. And then we go to side 4. Excuse me. Wishing You Were Here, a Peter Cetera song with lead vocals by Terry Kath. Reached number 11. It was another single. Has the Beach Boys on the backing vocals, which makes sense because Guercio is now the Beach Boys manager and their bass player in the band. So it would make sense he's going to get the Beach Boys involved. Then we go to a song called Call on Me, the first song written by Lee Loughnane and sung by Peter. And beautiful song. But Lee says, I was at the end of my marriage and I wanted to remain friends with her. And that's what the song is about. And then we go to Women Don't Want to Love Me, a Peter Cetera song with great guitar work. Terry Kath, his guitar on this sounds, you think you were listening to an Isley Brothers record with Ernie Isley playing. It's that good, really. And then we go to the last song, and it's called Skinny Boy, written by Bobby Lamb. And at this time that they were doing this album, Bobby was also recording a solo album called Skinny Boy, and he gave this song to the band for this record. And it features the Pointer Sisters singing on the background vocals. So all in all, I think this is a very solid record. Be a great addition to anybody's music collection. You can typically still find this record fairly inexpensive. So I highly recommend you pick it up. Thank you for watching. It's much appreciated. Leave your comments below. I love to read them. And until the next time, ciao.